Hello and welcome to the Wise Guys Podcast. I'm your host, Brady Fitzgerald, joined as always by my co-host, Chris Hagan.
How you guys doing?
Doing great today, Chris. We have a special guest in honor of March being here. We had to get a March tournament participant. I can't believe it. I can't believe I'm saying it myself. But Jack Anderson from Marquette, welcome to the podcast. Thank you for being here.
Hey guys, thanks for having me.
So to get started, I want to do this thing every time we have a basketball player on. And I want to start out with how stylistically would you describe your game? You can use a player, you can use, highlights, anything you want. How would you stylistically describe your game?
Shooter.
Straight shooter?
shoot the shoot the three ball, yeah.
Yeah, I saw 40% from the three in your D3 career. Um, what makes you such a good shooter?
Um I whenever I started playing like rec and stuff, I was always like super small, so I had to shoot the three, and then once I got older and stronger, I was able to shoot it from further, and it kind of like that's kind of what I worked on the most. I was always just shooter.
Love it.
That's
Love to
I
hear that.
You mentioned rec. I saw in an interview that you had done before that you had played like mostly rec ball throughout middle school and like weren't on the official team until high school, like didn't really start until later on in career. What like flipped that switch for you to because eventually you became a dominant player at that level? Um, Yeah, I don't know. I knew that when I got cut for the third year in a row in middle school, I was like, okay, I have to play JV next year. So then I started really just playing more. I feel like when you're that young, you don't really like work out and do like cone drills or shooting drills. You just got to go play to get better. And then after that, I just kind of kept doing my workout routines and I just saw the progression. And then when I got to college, I had no idea what to expect because I played about half the game in high school, maybe averaged like 8 points. And then the coach was like, it's like, here, go ahead. Like, just go do what you want to do. Like, go hoop. He played me like 35 minutes the first game, and I was gassed because I was not used to playing that much.
So your coach, you said 35, yeah, 35 a game, the first game. Your coach used you as he saw that you're shooting and just did he know immediately? Did he see after a couple practices? Um, when did he know that you were such a weapon on the court?
He had a workout in Florida, and it was me and a few other one of the other kids that played with me, Pete. Came down, and after the workout, he was just like, "You can come here and start and play the whole game, and like just do whatever you want on offense. Like you're a good player. Come on, let's go." And that sold me.
That's a great selling point. So when you then transferred to Marquette, what was the selling point there? What was the grab to transfer you all the way from Florida to Marquette?
Well, Keystone was in Pennsylvania,
Oh, sorry,
so that
you
was
were originally from Florida. My bad.
yeah, yeah, you're good. So, I mean, I'm here because of connections, and my coach that recruited me to Keystone was Nevada's assistant, and Nevada
Mhm.
Smith is the um assistant coach here. So then one spring break, Coop called me. He's like, "Yo, bro, I got you a walk on spot at Marquette. You want to go?" I was like, "Yeah, like let's do it." And it didn't take much convincing. Just like he said, like Coop said before, he was like, "You can come and play the whole game and just do whatever." And then this is literally like they could have told me I would have had to mop the floor. I would have came here. It's such a great place, great program. Yeah, it's awesome here. I love it.
So
So that
in
wasn't
Oh, go ahead, Chris. Sorry.
that wasn't like a super difficult decision for you. Like obviously you're going from D3 and you're playing 35 minutes a game, you're scoring 20 points a game. Like you were was it a difficult decision, I guess, to knowing that that would be a huge challenge stepping up to the D1 level? Yeah, it was. I actually waited a year before I came, because I wasn't ready myself, like mentally. So it was a tough decision. It definitely weighed on me, and it wasn't even like the basketball part. It was more so like I literally grew up at Keystone, so it was hard to really leave the people. But I knew like I wasn't ready to go after my sophomore year. So then after my junior year, I was the thankfully the position was still here for me, and then I made the jump. And like I'm big on like go with the flow of life. Like what's meant for you will find you, and like I have no regrets on like my journey or getting here. And like since being here, it's been like it's just perfect timing.
so in an interview I saw that you did earlier, you talked about how you want to take a step forward into coaching later on. Did Marquette sway that position at for was that a reason why you went to Marquette? Sorry.
Yeah, I mean that I'm not sure what I'm gonna do, but it's definitely the place to be to get into coaching. Like we have, in my opinion, the greatest coach in college basketball, from his schemes to the relationships he has with the players, like everything. Like if you I don't know if you've ever seen like an interview with him or just see him like coaching on TV, like he doesn't fall like it's the same. There's no like he doesn't fake anything. Real genuine dude. And he in that interview, he's like, "Yeah, like Jack, if he wants to coach, he can come and do it here. We can help him with that." Um, but yeah, I'm not really sure. I'm like I said, go with the flow. So I'm taking it, a day at a time. We got big games coming up. So yeah.
So,
Yeah,
um,
definitely. From everything that I've read about Shaka and about the program, it seems like the culture that he's built there is incredibly strong. Just from like what you were saying with the relationship with the players, and then the players' relationships with each other. So, how has he been able to build that like off the floor, and then how does it translate to success when you're on the floor?
Um, well, I think he's one of the only Marquette's one of the only high majors that didn't accept any transfers. Like I was a transfer, but I walked on, so it's a little different. So they like form relationships with guys in high school when they're 10th, 11th grade, and then they just build within the program. And he's like, "Look, guys, we're gonna pour all of our resources into you guys and get you guys better, and then in turn, we're gonna be better instead of going and getting a guy out of the portal who doesn't match like what we do here, match our culture."
so speaking of the portal, how was that experience? You said had connections already. Did you have any other? Did you look anywhere else? Did you have people bidding for you? Um,
Yeah, it was most of the like schools in the conference that I was in, and then I had like 7 or 8 D2s, I think, like all over the place. But I wasn't not that I wasn't interested, but I just didn't really know. Like I don't know. To me, it's like I like the fact that basically how Marquette has like their people for 4 years. Like that's kind of how I am. I don't really like move around a lot. Like I'm with my people, and that's kind of it. So in my mind, it was like I wasn't really going anywhere unless it was like a super amazing opportunity. And talked to the other coaches at the other schools. It was a great opportunity, and I'm blessed to like have been like to have that. I was just like, yeah, I think I'm just gonna stay at Keystone for this year, and then yeah, I kept the Marquette
oh,
Also, for a second,
yeah, I think so. I think we might have lost him for a second.
at least once a pod.
Yep. I don't know if it might be him though. I hope he's still connected with us. It does have to happen to one of us. Let me see if he's texted me. Oh, did we get you
back.
back?
Yeah,
Oh,
my
there he is.
fault. The
No, you're
Wi-Fi
totally
went.
There
fine.
he is.
Uh, I forget where did we leave off, Chris?
Just talking about the transfer portal
Yes.
experience, how you had some options, but decided to stay at Keystone until the perfect opportunity came up.
Yep. Yeah.
So
I mean,
looking. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you
go ahead.
off.
I didn't have anything else. Go ahead.
Okay. That last year at Keystone, you had one of the youngest head coaches, I believe, of all time. He was 24 years old. Is that am I did I look that up correctly? Is Brad Cooper the guy that I'm speaking
Yeah.
thinking of?
Yeah, so when he was the coach, for me, I think 24 was about 2013, so he was about 34.
Oh,
So,
okay. All
but
right, all right. At
he
some
did get hired. He did get hired very young though, and he would tell me stories about that, and he was like, it was kind of weird. Like now, obviously, there's a 10, 15 year age gap between me and the players I'm coaching, but when I was 24, some of the dudes that I was coaching were older than me. I was so it was kind of hard to coach really sometimes 'cause they would look at me and be like, "Man, like I'm older than you."
Yeah, that's what I was gonna. I mean, I'm glad that you still got stories from it, so we can share it on the pod. But that's what I was gonna ask you about. Is but the so if sorry, going from the transfer portal, going from D3 to D1, what was the biggest difference besides the crowd noise?
It's like it's night and day. I mean, the first day I came into practice, like I was when I walked in the locker room, I was a little starstruck at first because it's a bunch of people that I've been watching from, literally the whole season. Like, fought like I was like, oh, I watch you on TV. What's up? Like, I'm Jack. Nice to meet you. And the first day we had like we would do one-on-ones, and it was very humbling, very fast because the physicality is just a completely different. It's just a different monster. Like, you got to win. If you don't win the first step, you're not going anywhere.
Imagine, especially in the Big East, like a conference that historically has been known for physical basketball. That's especially noticeable there. Um, you're going up against some pretty awesome, like legendary head coaches in college basketball in that conference as well. Uh, so I had one question: who is more intimidating on the other side, Rick Pitino or Dan Hurley?
um, to be honest, no, I mean, neither of them. They kind of just they talk to their players. They don't really talk to either of us. We all shake hands with eye contact at the end. It's not really an intimidation factor. They're good coaches and they have good teams, and we're a good team and we have a good coach.
So, what's been your biggest takeaway from this season so far? We've talked about the sacrifice that you had to make to come to Marquette. What's been your biggest takeaway as a player, as a person, um, everything?
As a person, I think I'm like we had like a little senior thing and everyone was just kind of telling me how I've impacted them in a positive way. So as a person, I think I've grown there. But like, yeah, being able to positively impact people has definitely been I think I've been doing it, but here it's heightened because I have more of an influence, like, with the players, because we're just super, super close. And I was close with my guys at Keystone too, but we're together all the time here because we're like lifting or practicing or team bonding something. So that, and then as a player, I've gotten like gained a bunch of muscle. I've just gotten like just way better. Like, it's night and day.
We were kind of getting into it. What does a week look like for you? How do you get everything done?
Uh, are we like now or like preseason or summer or what?
All right, let's go middle of the season right now, not like this specific week, of course.
Okay. Uh, I like going and shooting in the morning before class. So I'll go and shoot before my 9 o'clock class, and then I get out at like 11. And we have practice at 1:15, and we start in the film room. So then we lift, do our everyday stuff in the weight room anytime like that we're free. So the weight room probably opens at 8. So we go in there with Todd, our strength coach, and do the lift for the day and get it done before practice. And then film and practice is from 1:15 to whenever we get done. It varies. And then after that, like the afternoons, we go grab food together, hang out, like do homework, do podcasts.
Yeah. So the what is Shaka Smart specifically drilled into you guys throughout the whole season? Like, what's been the message in the locker room? I guess if there's been any. I mean, maybe that's a broad question.
There's a lot, but I will say he's just like basically if we give it all we've got, like there's not a chance that anyone can beat us. That's really it. Like, we have such I couldn't speak higher about any like individuals or basketball players that I know than I could about this team. Like I could go down the roster, but I'm not gonna do that. But yeah, we got some dogs on our team, and if we're when we are where we need to be, culturally, it's yeah, is really good for us and not good for the other team.
Love it. Absolutely love it.
While we're talking about Shaka again, the EGBs, and it was is that energy giving behaviors?
Yeah, energy generating behaviors.
energy generating. So I was very curious about this when I was reading about them. You guys keep track of them, like in practices and in games. Like, is it somebody's job to count them and log them?
Yeah, it is.
So
Yep.
what's a good amount of EGBs a game?
Um, as a team one time we had to get like all together, added up, just the players, 3,500 or 4,000. That's not like a clap isn't an EGB, like it's more like doing like it's kind of weird how it like goes about like you like dapping someone up, that's EGB. Jumping in the air and like shoulder bumping someone is a chest bump, but like a high five on the court. Um a lob dunk is one because that like you assisted them, not all assists but like stuff like that. And then
Mhm.
basically just pouring into each other, like anything that like positively impacts another person. It could be like even just saying something to them real quick in their ear, like. And one thing here, the players are so like humble and they have a humility about them. So it's like, whereas like I'm not gonna talk about other places, but like they will listen to anything that anyone in the program has to say, whether it's like a manager or like a walk on, like I'll tell, I don't know, like like Trey, like even like good drive, get to 2 feet though, and then you could kick, like literally stuff like that, and he'll like actually listen because it stinks when people are like, yeah, 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 whatever.
Mhm.
But everyone is so humble and has a humility to listen because they know that they can learn from everybody.
How hard is it as a college kid to block out that noise that's coming from the outside? It's coming from everywhere. Some of the players that have a bad game, they how to like do people avoid their phone, avoid Twitter, avoid looking at Marquette basketball afterwards after a bad loss or something?
Um, we're focused on us, so the outside noise. It's hard, especially now with social media, but a lot of us will stay off of it. I just deleted Twitter the other day, actually.
Smart,
but
smart.
yeah, we're focused on us, and even whatever bad loss, a win, we're just focused on the people in the room because at the end of the day, that's who we're going to war with, and the people outside the room don't really matter.
Love
I
that.
guess I'd imagine that it's like you have that same mentality when you're on the floor and like obviously D1 basketball in the Big East, you're playing in some pretty hostile environments, some pretty brutal student sections. So
Yeah.
is like how difficult is it to turn off that noise when it's like right in your face and you can't necessarily put your phone down or turn the radio off?
It's tough. Like it's not an easy thing to do. And Coach Smart will say a lot like he's like, I know this isn't easy, it's easier said than done, but we wouldn't ask you to do it if like you weren't able to. Like you can do it and you're gonna do it. So yeah, I mean that's really it with that. Just focus it like and it might affect people. Somebody might have a bad game because of that noise, but then we're gonna course correct it, hopefully, and fix it and be ready for what's next.
Yeah, I mean that kind of goes along with the thing that you said a couple minutes ago about him telling you all that if there's something that you guys think you can accomplish, like there's really nothing to stop you if you're all together.
Yeah.
But yeah, I always wonder that. Like, I mean, both of us went to basketball schools where we went to pretty much every game and
We went to war
probably said
against you
some
players.
horrible things.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, I was curious what it's like from the other side.
A lot of the times, to be
Um,
honest, like, oh my, yeah, a lot of the times, to
no,
be
no, yeah,
honest,
go ahead.
when you're on the court, if you're like focused and like you're just lost in a fight, that's one of our sayings, like just lose yourself in it and just go after it. You don't hear, they could say something horrible about your mother or brother, so or they could like be screaming like go Stevie, go Cam, and you literally can't, you just tune it out. I think it's just noise.
Yeah.
It's not anything specific, it's just noise, and that energy could be used for us even if they're booing us.
Yeah, I've noticed that as a fan, sometimes the crowd is still cheer or still like heckling or still being loud, and it's like this is the wrong part. Like the other team's gaining the momentum, so you could definitely I could see how you could use that to your advantage. Um,
Yep.
Was there
So
a arena or atmosphere that stuck out to you as like the loudest or the toughest to play in, or do they all
Um,
just kind of blend together?
they all kind of blend together. I will say, from a noise standpoint, Dayton was very, very loud. Um, they played a really good basketball against us. That was a good game, and it gets loud in Pfizer where we play. But we did play a game in the Al McGuire Center, which is like our on-campus arena that's connect. It's like a big building. Our practice gym is in there, and then the arena where the women's play is. We played in there, and I think it holds like 35 or 4,000 people, and it was a student-only game, a whiteout game. That was the loudest. It was so crazy in there. We
to
played
only
George
students, I
Mason.
believe it.
Yeah, we're warming up, and it's like you lay the ball up and you could literally high five someone right behind the bat. Like, it was so they were so close. And we got had a really, really crazy game that game. He hit, I don't remember how many threes, but it was rocking in there.
Oh, that sounds electric. So I gotta ask. I don't know anything about it at all. I just know that you guys celebrate it. What is Marquette Day?
National Marquette Day. I'm not gonna lie, I couldn't even tell you. There's always a basketball game on it. A lot of college students go do what college students do all day. Um, and then they go to the basketball game later that day. But I think it's just celebrating Marquette. I'm not sure. Like, I'm really not familiar because, like, when we have a game, it's kind of like it doesn't
You got a
matter what day,
game,
you know
yeah.
what I mean? It doesn't matter
Hmm.
what day it is.
No,
I
yeah,
think
that's
it's
fun.
just a celebration of Marquette, though.
That's pretty sick. You guys got your own day. I mean,
Yeah. Oh, it's like an alumni day. Like, it just brings everyone together that loves Marquette. So that's what it is. I should have knew that.
all right. Chris, you got any other questions?
I mean, last one, I guess. I know we can't get into the game or anything, but how has the NCAA tournament been so far? Just from a perspective, of, like having the, sure you guys had like a gathering to watch the selection show, and then like, do you guys do anything when you're on the road, or is it all you're all focused?
um, Yeah, I mean, go well, for me coming from such a small school, coming to this, like, it's night and day. The resources we have, super blessed to like be able to do stuff like that. But we went to a restaurant called the Mecca right across from where we play, and a bunch of like, fans were there, and all of our support staff, and all of our coaches' families, which I think is really cool that like all of our coaches' families are so involved, like their kids, like we all like they're like our little cousins, really. So um, seeing the name put up there was awesome. We got a good matchup, and as for like preparing, we're gonna go on the road tomorrow. The NCAA like kind of plans the travel for us, and we'll be in Cleveland, and then we'll just have practice and be chilling in the hotel for real until we play.
Yeah, I guess it's not like a bowl game where you have like a lot more time before the game where you can go out and like, explore a little bit, but that makes sense.
Yeah.
Is there? I mean, I guessing. What are you like? Are you guys gonna get? You guys gonna get a whole set of gear? Like, what are you most looking forward? Like a sweatshirt you're most looking
Oh,
forward
did we?
to? Oh,
Looks
we
Yeah,
like
the
it.
we lost
spinner.
me.
Oh, there he is.
I'm back. Did you guys? Did you hear my question?
Okay.
Uh,
No,
Wow.
we got you.
all right, all right. So you're going to the NCAA tournament. You're gonna be kitted out. What are you most looking forward to? A pair of sweatpants, a jacket. Um, what's the NCAA tournament logo? It's gonna be on all over you. What are you most looking forward to wearing?
Well, I know John Jones on our team has some socks that are March Madness. Those are pretty cool. But in all honesty, like we're trying to win some games. The gear will come with it, but trying to win. That other
Hey,
stuff
good
is
answer.
just
Good. Coach is gonna love that answer.
That's
Coach is gonna
right.
absolutely love that answer.
yeah, we're
Um,
trying to win some games.
awesome. Well, good luck in the NCAA tournament. Thank you for coming on.
Absolutely.
Um, and we'd love to have you on again. Good luck with everything. And thank you.
Just let me know. Thank you guys.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, thanks, Jack.
All right, see ya.
Right. Back. Felt nervous. We haven't done an interview in a while. I felt
We
real
haven't done an
nervous.
interview in a while. I
No,
forgot to ask my Maryland question. They played at Maryland.
oh,
I didn't really have a question though. I don't know what I would have said.
yeah, just played at Maryland. You hear me?
Right, yeah. What do you think?
Yeah.
I was kind of hoping when I asked about the atmosphere that he was like, "Man, we went to the Xfinity Center and that place was that was a war zone in there." That's what I was hoping for. When you didn't mention it, I was like,
No, he had great
"That's all
answers.
right."
He was locked in. He knew he was ready to go. Um,
Yep.
so looking forward to seeing Marquette in the tournament. Hopefully, we'll see Jack play some minutes. That'll be great. So, speaking of Marquette and the NCAA tournament, that is what the rest of what we're doing. We're breaking down the tournament. If you haven't already, join right now the Wise Guys Bracket Challenge. Winner gets a free T-shirt, and we're pumped.
No entry
It's
fee.
no entry fee, um, no password. This is probably our favorite thing we do. Besides, we do a lot of things that we say is our favorite things to do. Mock draft's one of them. They're all coming up close too, so it's the best. It's
Yeah.
almost the best time
I
of
mean,
year.
movies are coming up too,
Yeah, yeah,
and top
movies are great.
fives.
That's true.
So
Um, so the bracket is out. We're ready to break it down. Chris, we're gonna start just in the South region where you should start, left to right, or left. I always go left down and then right down. That's the way to do it, right?
I think so.
I think that's the way.
I guess if you're reading a book, that's not how you would do it, but
Yeah, but it's like that's how they make
what
you fill
bracket
out the
am I looking
bracket,
at?
right? Nah, it's all right.
I think
But
so. Yeah. Let me pull up. I can't get a good image of it.
yeah, that's why I just
Let me
pulled
go
up
to
ours
my
before we
Wise
started.
Guys bracket challenge.
Yeah, that's what you got to do. Um, let's get right into it. We got Auburn as the number 1 seed in this region. Auburn had a phenomenal season. They won one of the last 3 games, so they had like a trippy end of the season, kind of got people a little worried for
Yeah,
this
they did.
tournament. Um, they're going to be playing one of Alabama State or St. Francis, who are playing right now. Currently, St. Francis is leading. I don't think it matters either way. I think Auburn has a really deep team. They're just going to decimate this squad. Um, but it's really good first round matchup. Louisville Creighton. Louisville has a great coach. He was the coach of the Charleston team, and Charleston always seemed to make the tournament. Always seemed to fight in
Yep.
tournament games. So I like Louisville a lot here. Creighton did have a good season. I think they finished third in the Big East. Um,
Louisville
third
is
or
also
fourth.
a sleepy or a sneaky 8 seed because
Mm-hmm.
they shouldn't be an 8 seed. They
No.
were 10th in the AP poll, and obviously the AP poll, like the committee doesn't factor that in at all because it's just writers. But the fact that they were an 8 seed after going like 16-2 or something ridiculous in the ACC and making it to the final is kind of ridiculous, which kind of sucks for Creighton. And it really sucks for Auburn because if Louisville beats Creighton, I think the next game is in Kentucky, which is basically going to
Yes,
be a
it's
home
in
game for
Lexington.
Louisville. So Auburn being number 1 in the field kind of got screwed with their draw. Not only
The stream's ended. That's all right. Stream's back up. All right. Where was I? Let me capture my thoughts. Louisville, Auburn, in Lexington. Definitely going to be a dogfight. Definitely going to be a lot of Louisville fans there, even though it's not the same part of Kentucky. Yada yada yada. It's still the same state. It's going to be packed.
Kentucky's not that big, right?
No, it can't be that big.
I don't think those cities are far from each other anyway. I think they're like an hour away.
I think you're right. They're definitely close, and it's gonna be packed. I mean, this is like when South Carolina they, I only know this example because it came up on John Rothstein said it. South Carolina played Duke in Greenville. Bunch of South Carolina fans there. Makes total sense. Just like this game would end up for Louisville. Yeah, but you have a good point. Creighton could definitely beat Louisville in the first round. That's why it's the 8-9. They did get screwed with this draw. They were, I think, 13th in the the coaches poll. AP poll was 10. Kame Palm was top 15. Uh, really got screwed with the 8th seed. And there hasn't been a AP poll of 13 that has been lower than like a 4 seed in the past, I think, 10 years. So they really did get screwed. But I guess they got they got their home game now. Now everyone's saying Auburn's getting screwed,
Right.
so
Yeah.
I guess it evens out. Um,
There are a couple situations like this throughout the bracket that are questionable,
yeah, this
to say
was
the
a
least.
maybe we're just nitpicking a little bit too much this year, but there was a lot of questionable decisions. The UNC one, of course, being
I mean,
the biggest
yeah.
one.
But if we go one game down, Michigan being the 5 seed after winning the Big Ten tournament is kind of cheap.
Yeah, that's
And like
it's
now they
bad.
have to play a team that won 30 games this year and is like 35th in Ken Palm. They're a 2 point favorite.
Yeah, this is a bad
Like I
draw for
think probably
Michigan
half
too.
of people filling out brackets are are taking UCSD. I did. I kind of been a Michigan hater all year though, in all fairness.
There has
They
been
don't have
the
guards.
I think my brother told me this morning 85% of the money, something like that, is on UNC San Diego. It's looking scary for Michigan. So you just said you're a Michigan hater, so I guess I can. But you watch Big Ten enough. What would be how do they win this? What did like that what's how did they win the Big Ten to begin with?
Their two bigs are excellent. So if you remember when FAU made the Final Four, they had this guy Vlad Golden.
Yep.
Who's their center. He's a 7-footer. They have him. He followed Dusty May to Michigan, and they have this guy Danny Wolf who played at Yale last year,
Okay.
and Yale remember beat
Yeah.
Auburn in the tournament. So they have those two guys. Wolf is kind of more of like a point forward. They'll use him like that sometimes. Like he can shoot, but he can also bang inside. Golden is a stud. I think he was first team all Big Ten. So like those guys are studs. That's how they win games. Um, but they turn the ball over way too much. They don't shoot the three well. They don't like their guard play is just it's lacking for what you need to advance in the tournament. So I like obviously they should beat UC San Diego, but I would not imagine them going very far.
Mike says that you're salty from the buzzer beater.
I'm not. We beat them a week earlier.
Um so
Also, I
okay.
had a take about that game. That game, I was already prepared to accept a loss because I didn't want to play on Sunday. I wanted fresh legs. So I got over that one pretty quickly. Michigan State was way worse. That wasn't even in the Big
Yeah,
Ten
yeah,
tournament.
that was way worse.
I don't think we
Um
spoke. Did we speak about that on the
no, we didn't
podcast?
I don't think we talked about that on the
Forgot that
pod.
happened.
Yeah, I think we left that in the grave. Um, Mi Michigan State. We'll talk about Michigan State later in this not tournament, but this region. So we'll get to them soon. Um, Yale, Texas A&M. I actually like Yale here. I think Yale's awesome again. Um, and I just I know Texas A&M is deep. They won a lot of SEC games. I just don't think I don't know if they're that good. Um, I don't have too much like to back it up or the stats to back it up, but
They
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 strike me as
they don't
inconsistent.
they are. They are.
I don't watch SEC, but it feels like they beat and then lose to one of the crappier teams. Those teams are nervous.
All right. Where we go next? We got Old Miss and San Diego State or UNC. Let's talk about UNC. Their chairman or their what is it, AD is on the
Bubba
board. Yeah, Bubba.
he's on the board. He runs the board. He's the chair.
How is this allowed?
I don't know. I never realized that. That I guess nobody does until it matters. Um, but like the guy that he was bringing on the selection show is the commissioner of the Sun Belt. That kind of makes sense, but even then, you have an affiliation with teams. It should just be like I'd rather have it be like beat writers. I'd rather
I
have
was gonna
John Rothstein
say,
make the bracket.
yeah.
Or
Why?
like one of
There's
these
people who's.
guys that are paid to be bracketologists.
I was
Like,
just gonna say,
what's the
people
point
get
of that
paid to do
job? I
this.
don't
Yeah, there's supposed to be a science behind this. Why ignore all the science and just go with donors? I mean, this. I mean, it's just like, welcome to America, pal. This is everything that.
Yeah, that's fair enough. And
It's just
I don't believe that there's any like collusion or corruption, but like he's in the room and then all of a sudden it's time to talk about Carolina and he's like, "All right guys, I'll see you later." You know, wink wink, have fun. And then he leaves and they're like, "Okay, well, like he's our boy and our boss, so we have to put them in." Right?
yeah, and it's
Could have said nothing and there's still a humongous bias.
yeah. No matter what, there's bias in here, and I don't think they're that good. I think they're gonna lose to San Diego State tonight. Or
Favored. They're like 5-point
yeah, they're
favorites.
they're 5-point favorites. I don't get that. They have one quad one win. I mean, if you've listened to a podcast today about March Madness, you've heard all about this. Um, but it's I don't understand it. I think no matter what, they're gonna get either bounced tonight or bounced out of the first round by Old Miss. I think Old Miss is
Hope
surprisingly a little
so.
deep this year. Um,
Chris Beard's a
they
good coach too. Better coach than he is a person.
yeah, yeah,
But
definitely. Um, what? Tell me
isn't
about
saying
Iowa
much.
State. I know that their best player's out, but he's
That's
been
all
out
I
for a
got.
while, right? Yeah, okay. I've heard
I
they
don't know
usually
if they were expecting him to come back or not. But from what I was able to gather, it seemed like they should not be a 3 seed without him.
okay. That's what I've heard too. Um, and it was one of those things, you can't rank them lower just because of the injury. Um, I mean, I guess you can. They definitely can. They've done it.
You can,
Yeah.
and the coach didn't announce that he was out until after the bracket came out.
Oh, you're right. You're right. I did hear about that. Genius move. Absolutely genius move.
Yes, very smart.
Um, because you're right. They definitely would have knocked him lower. They would have been a 6 seed or something. Um, speaking of this I don't know why I said speaking of, but speaking of Marquette, we had our guy Jack Anderson here. Marquette, New Mexico. I think it's a. I mean, they love their matchup. I love their locker rooms ready to go. I'm now fired up for Marquette after our interview.
I am too. I have him in the
Um,
Sweet 16.
oh, love it, love it. A little undersized, but I think they can make some noise.
Yeah, I do like. There is something to be said about the continuity in that program because that's like
Mm-hmm.
you literally don't see that ever. That like Shaka just doesn't use the transfer portal. So like these guys have been playing together for 4 years, which is kind of cool. So
Yeah,
there's definitely like I feel like there's got to be a little more motivation there when you know it's your last ride as
he
seniors.
they clearly have this family um, atmosphere throughout their whole program. I mean, Jack was talking about how his coach's kids are like cousins to them. This is clearly a knitted group, and I didn't even think about that factor. Last ride factor is a great deal. I like that. You think they can beat Michigan State?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I think anyone could beat Michigan State.
Really?
Um, yeah, it's a good team. They are. They don't have a dude like Marquette. Marquette will have the best one game, June. It worries me a little. Michigan State's home is they can throw guys at you. They have
Here,
four
pause
like
for a second, Chris.
guys that
Let me. You were uh, cutting in and out. Try again.
I just like try to Google something.
Oh, yeah, that's probably
My
why.
laptop is from like the 80s. First laptop ever invented.
Mm. Yeah, so okay,
Um,
yeah, restart what you were saying.
yeah. So like Michigan State is obviously a very good team. They're a 2 seed for a reason. They didn't like not lucky or anything like that. And I'm sure there's definitely a big part of me that's bitter. But their whole thing throughout the season is they have 10 guys like that they can play, so they're deep. They have 4 guys who are basically 7 feet tall that they can throw at you. So they're stellar around the rim. They're stellar defensively, but they don't have that guy at the end of the game um, that you want the ball in their hands. Like they have good cards. Like they have Holloman and Jason Richardson, who's like one of the best freshmen in the conference. Um, but they don't have a guy like Cam Jones. Like I would almost rather have that senior guard who is just a bucket getter than have like a collection of good players. If they can keep it close, like in the last 3 minutes of a game, that's what I'm
I
saying.
I
Michigan
understand
State
I
come out and
understand your
bully
point.
them.
I understand your point. After I saw them in person, I have them winning it all.
Really?
Yeah, I have them winning it all. I just think I have to disagree with you. I know that the guy does matter a lot in basketball, but and they don't have the one thing I will say, they don't have the guards that you normally
Yeah.
need to win in college. But they have the big men that just suffocate on defense. And what I saw them do to the Crab 5, I was coming in expecting this Crab 5 masterpiece, and they suffocated them. They made them play Michigan State basketball, and every 3-pointer in that game felt like it was a touchdown or a 2 touchdown lead even. And um and of course how that game ends is not how they're going to win the tournament. But they if they can keep it in those games, and they do need that guy at the end to step up. But this is March. Maybe we'll see a guy take some shots,
Fair
hit some
enough.
buzzer beaters. Um, but I do like I think if they can suffocate and win by they can win by 10 in all these games, I feel like.
Yeah, I don't know. I also like I don't trust teams who weren't highly ranked in the preseason because that means that they weren't considered talented enough early on. And like obviously this is one of Izzo's best coaching jobs, I think. Um, but I think they're kind of similar to St. John's, where like they play amazing defense and they do suffocate teams, but those kind of teams I feel like are very susceptible to getting picked off in the tournament. Because if you're gonna play a team like in the 50s, like they did with Maryland, you're turning that game into a 1 or 2 possession game, like regardless of how well you play on defense. That's kind of been Houston's bugaboo the last couple years. So that's the only thing that makes me nervous about Michigan State. They're an excellent team. I'm
That
not like
makes
I'm clearly biased and bitter. So take my opinion for what it's worth.
Hey, well, that you make a great point because Maryland had no point or had no business being in that game.
Yeah.
Uh,
Like as awful as Maryland played, Michigan State's offense was dreadful.
yeah, it was a brick fest, and I just I think at one point Michigan State I think it was at halftime actually. I think I looked at you and said they had more rebounds than Maryland had points, and
Yes. And they're
Maryland was
winning.
winning. Yeah, and Maryland was winning. Um, that can screw you. You know, you can play perfect team basketball, but if it doesn't get in the bucket, it doesn't matter how well your defense goes. So
Yep.
you're right.
It's make or
If
miss
they catch
game.
a
It's not that complicated.
yeah, and if they catch a team that's hot for 4 minutes, they can lose a game. So
That's what I said. I remember saying during the Maryland game too. Like if Maryland just gets hot for a couple minutes, this
yep,
game it's a 10 point game.
and you're right.
Just like that.
If we hit 2 threes, that's what it felt like in the game. It would have been like a 21-point lead in football. That's what it would have felt like.
Hmm.
Um, all right, that's a great region. Is it? I mean, it's a great bracket. It's a great bracket for all the complaints that are in it. Let's move down west. I know it sounds weird, but that's where the bracket is on my
Yeah.
computer.
Moving down from the south to the west.
Yes, yes. Um, Florida, number 1 seed in this region. They are gonna eviscerate Norfolk State. Feel bad for Norfolk State. Um, everyone loves Florida. Everyone.
Everybody does love Florida.
It's at like
And I don't what's your take on Florida? Because I like you watch more SEC basketball than me.
what I noticed about Florida the past couple years is that they just like grow these big guys. I don't know what if it's in the water or out of the swamp, but like they just have like some 7 foot guy that you've never seen before, and he's just like dribbling a basketball. Um, so I mean, they're deep. They're one of the deepest teams I think in the league. Um, they they're really solid team. I do think they're gonna eviscerate Norfolk State. I think they're gonna have a tough time against UConn only because their coach hasn't won a tournament game yet. Um, and I just coaching matters in this tournament, and I think when it comes down to the nitty gritty, they might be able to play great ball. They might be more talented than the other team. Um, but they're gonna be have to face against they're gonna face against Dan Hurley, maybe Calipari, maybe St. John's, and yeah, no, probably not Calipari. But there's a lot of good coaches in this region that they're gonna have to go up against. Um, and I don't know if they could do it, but I do think they have the talent to go. Like, there's a reason why all these people are picking them. I think they have the talent to go all the
Mhm.
way. Um,
Yeah.
it's definitely a scary team to like. If you're UConn, you're that stinks. I mean, I guess you didn't have the best year, but
But
it
all the
stinks
one
that you're going to.
seeds. Sorry.
Yeah, that's true.
This this region is a gauntlet.
Yeah.
Like from
Yeah.
top, the only weak spot I think is the 5-12 game. Like Memphis without one of their best players uh is like the worst 5 seed. Colorado State's actually favored to beat them, but like Maryland, Missouri, Texas Tech, and Arkansas is the 7-10 game, and St. John's at the bottom. Like this is rough. This is
Well,
like
and
getting out
like
of this region. You're gonna have some battle scars.
yeah, and even St. John's, I mean, that first game against Omaha is not gonna be something you sleep on. That Omaha team's been on fire, won their conference, and then won the tournament, banging trash cans. That's not an easy 15 seed. Um, and Arkansas Kansas isn't what we'd want from Calipari versus Kansas,
No, yeah,
but it's still Hunter Dickinson. It's still Calipari. There's still a lot of Kansas or Kentucky players that transferred onto Arkansas. I think if they get hot, there's they could catch lightning in a bottle. They won't beat St. John's though. They could definitely beat Kansas. And I don't know, like I even like UNC Wilmington. Something about Drake every time they're in the tournament.
no, off
Right?
the trade.
Yeah, it's right. Can't put down
Mizzou had
Drake.
a good year though. I feel like Mizzou was kind of slept on all season.
Mizzou did have a good year. They had a complete turnaround. They won 0 SEC games last year, and
Yeah,
now I think they finished. I mean, the SEC was a gauntlet. I couldn't tell you where they finished in the SEC. I'm not gonna lie. But they're a 6 seed in the tournament. I mean, Josh Gray's on that team, so they got a solid big man. They they are a good team, and I don't know anything about Drake. There's some about
they're always in it, and
it's
they
always,
always like
they always sneak a game.
they destroy their conference every year. Like I feel like they always have 30 wins. Um, and they just had a head coaching like their head coach from 2 years ago took the West Virginia job, and then today took the Indiana job. And that those last 2 years, like they haven't missed a beat. Um, they played Miami. I think they played Miami last year in the tournament and played them down to the wire, if I remember correctly, because I think I bet on them. Um, but they're always a tough out.
How do you feel about Grand Canyon?
From everything I've heard, Grand Canyon is the worst 13, and they play super fast, but they're just like not that good at basketball. So like they'll run you up and down the floor, but they throw the ball away constantly. Um, and like they don't shoot the three well, which I feel like is pretty important for a team that plays in transition like that. Maryland does shoot the three well and has Julian Reese and Derek Queen. So they should have no problem, but it's a tournament game. So I wouldn't be shocked if it is a problem. So
They
definitely not count my chickens.
Yeah, Maryland is set up as a team construction wise. It's how you want it in March. I mean, you have the two big men. You have a good guard. Um, you got the Crab Five got himself a nickname. Um, do you do you think? I mean, this is you said a gauntlet you got to go through here in this region. What are your shots? How far
It
do you think
is,
it
but
can go?
I think the draw is good for them. Like I said, Memphis is probably the worst 5 that they're underdogs against the 12 seed. Um, so like regardless of who wins that game, Maryland will be a pretty sizable favorite, I think, in the next round. So that's great, but it also puts a lot more pressure on them, and especially on Kevin Willard because the expectations at this school are pretty high after a season like this, and he's going to get a big contract extension. So if he doesn't win, like if he doesn't get to the Sweet 16, it's immediately going to be like, why are we giving this guy a contract extension? Like he's won nothing. He's won one tournament game, and he choked the year that he's had a really good roster. So there's a lot of pressure on him. I don't know if the players will feel that because it's not like they've really been there before. Um, which I think is another thing that could play against them. Like I'm trying to think of who's even had tournament experience. Julian Reese has played 2 games. I don't know if Gillespie's Belmont teams did, but like Queen's a freshman. I don't think Selton Miguel ever played in the tournament game. I don't think Rodney Rice has played in a tournament game. They're very inexperienced, which
Rodney Rice is built for
I don't love.
March.
You think?
Yeah, I think he's built for March. I think he's
Yeah.
a name that will
He's
will
onions. He's an onions guy.
yeah. Yeah. I
To
think
see that. But like I was kind of saying with talking about Marquette and just like having a dude, I think that I don't know how many starting fives I would take over Maryland's five. Like
grab
if you give
5.
me a one possession game with 5 minutes left, like we're not going to the bench. So if they keep it close, like if they can hang around with a team like Florida or eventually a St. John's or a Texas Tech, like I feel good with my five on the floor.
There's there's
Just
one
matter
thing.
of can you get to that point and like can the legs stay fresh long enough? Because they can get to the Sweet 16, or like even if they get to the Elite Eight and you're playing St. John's after you played Florida 2 days ago, like guys are gonna be wiped.
The
That's the other concern.
and that kind of degrades what I'm next going to say, but also it makes sense. The college basketball, everyone gets infatuated with depth, but you got to play 5 people. You can only play
Yeah,
5. And if you have the best 5, which, you know, no other 5 has a nickname this season, you can I mean, that's all you need. So if you can get 8 good minutes from 2 bench guys,
yep.
just that's what you need to
No
stay in these
turnovers.
games.
Get me a buck. Give me like 4 Jordan Geronimo points and a couple stops by Harris Smith on defense, and that's really all that they need.
Yeah, and then just ride with your guys. Um, I I mean, I just have I don't know. I think I have UConn in here just because I'm biased for them, and I wanted to put them a little bit farther. I had them beating St. John's, getting revenge. I do think St. John's will win this region, and it's gonna be a war here. I think if Patino can make it this far, I mean, it's gonna be a real testament to his coaching abilities. But
Yeah, I have St. John's winning the region too. I don't like it. Like I don't think I like St. John's that much.
it's
I
like,
was kind of saying it earlier with Michigan State. I just don't trust a team that doesn't like they can't shoot. It's hard to
yeah,
win. We can't shoot.
I will say
And
this since we brought up
this
Michigan
is
State.
such a tough region.
Um, Mike Mike said that Michigan State is worse than Michigan. She might not be wrong. We'll have to see.
The results on the floor would say different, but
It's true. It's true.
only sample size of two.
Hmm.
The only sample size of two though.
That's true. That's
Michigan
true.
beat Wisconsin, and Wisconsin beat Michigan State. So the transitive property.
Yeah. There's always a bigger fish. Um, East region. This is a Duke cakewalk. Besides, like, what,
I wouldn't like seeing Oregon
Wisconsin?
because Oregon's always tough in the tournament. But yeah, I think Alabama's susceptible. I think Arizona is susceptible. I think Wisconsin actually has a pretty decent path to see them in the Elite Eight. Uh, but yeah, this I'd be pretty shocked if Duke doesn't get out of this region.
The Alabama. They need Nelson. They're gonna be good
Yeah,
in the first game, maybe against Vanderbilt or St. Mary's, but once it comes time to Wisconsin, they
yep,
need Nelson big time. I've heard a lot of noise about BYU. Um,
I have two.
there's I don't know much about them. I know my brothers watched a crap ton of them and bet on them all the time for some reason, probably just because they're the late game.
Around late.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um, but I've heard rumblings about BYU. And honestly VCU too. I've heard some good things come out of VCU
yeah.
as well.
VCU's tough. This is kind of an awesome 6-11 game. I think Wisconsin's really good, and I think people see Wisconsin and they don't get excited, but this Wisconsin team can actually score. And I think a lot of people probably also watched the Big Ten championship on Sunday and saw a team that shot like 6 of 50 from 3 point range. That's not what they were all season. Like that was a horrible game. They can actually score the basketball, which is not what they are used to playing like. And they have one of the best players in the tournament in Tanjay. So I like Wisconsin to get it pretty deep.
I
But
like
again,
Wisconsin
like
too.
all of my knowledge is Big Ten. So I have strong opinions on those teams. So if I like them, they're going far. If I don't, they're getting beat in the first round. I don't know enough about the other teams.
the I mean, this is I like Wisconsin from what I've heard. I've like again, as you said, it is hard to keep track of all these teams. Um, like as you said, I just have Vanderbilt and Alabama penciled in the first round. Like I don't know anything about St. Mary's. I know they're always good.
St. Mary's
They're
is
always in
always in
there.
it, but they always lose.
Yeah,
They have too
and
many white guys. Was watching the freaking selection show, and I knew this before because they have like 5 white dudes playing, but literally their whole team is white. They showed their selection party. It's like, what are we doing here?
I do like Vanderbilt. By the way, 10 seed, great season by them. Another
Yeah,
dog
I haven't
water
seen Vanderbilt in the
SEC
tournament in
team.
a while.
Yeah. Um, you know, it made me so mad. 14 out of the 16 uh CC teams made it in the tournament. Um, that's a pretty brutal stat. We got invited to the NIT. I guess that's something.
I saw that.
Yeah, we declined it.
Turn
We
it
could talk. I'll
down.
talk about that afterwards. But what's up with Arizona? I know they have the kid from what
It's
UNC,
Caleb
Caleb
Love.
Love. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a guy. We got a toy. Like he's a.
But
All right, that's
they
not a
lost to
great way to say it.
Princeton 2 years ago. Remember that?
Yes. Yeah,
They're
I
not
do
going
remember that.
anywhere.
All right, cool. I like that. I'm switching up. I
I'm
love I
not. I
love
didn't
doing
even
this
sniff
switching up picks.
Arizona. I almost had them losing to Akron.
Really? Okay.
Watch that. They'll.
The
Yeah.
Zips. There's something about the Zips this year.
The Zips.
Yeah, there's something about the Zips this year. Um. Okay, Houston. Houston are they just gonna be the 1 seed every year and just never win anything?
They're they're due. I
They're
am winning
due.
my bracket.
All right.
They've
Sure.
gotten hurt the last 2 years.
That's
Jamal
true.
Stead got hurt against Duke last year, and Sasser got hurt the year before
Yeah, that's true.
against whoever they lost to. Or maybe it was no, I think it was early in the tournament. He was hurt and he never was at full strength. So we haven't seen a full strength Houston team as the 1 seed. I think they're due. Like you can't be they dominated the Big 12 this year. And it was like they moved conferences and it's like, oh, Houston still looked this good in the Big 12 and they just ran through it. So I think it's their year.
I like it. I
But
you
Gonzaga will
convinced
probably
me.
beat them in the next round because that is a shitty draw. Gonzaga's
Yeah.
like 10 and Ken Pop. They're an 8 seed.
Remember how I was saying earlier I was gonna mention when I mentioned UConn not looking forward to Florida in the next round, and you're like, oh, that's probably every 8-1. I mean, Gonzaga's got to
Yeah,
be like,
Gonzaga's
eh.
licking
Yeah,
themselves.
it's like not that bad. That's definitely I could see that upset happening. I could see
Yep.
otherwise though, like this bracket or this region, and I'm a tenant. This is gonna be. I just
That's region kind of poopy.
yeah, no, this region is kind of poopy, but I just don't like Tennessee basketball. I'm not gonna. That's
I have Utah State beating them in the second round.
yeah.
Like
I
my boy Ian Martinez, former Terp, hate that he transferred, but he's been so good at
oh,
Utah State.
I
So
like that.
that's a name to keep an eye out on.
I had them losing
They
to
got to beat
Xavier.
UCLA, but
Xavier
wait,
going
to
all the way.
Xavier?
Yeah,
When?
Xavier baby in what is this Sweet
Don't they have to
16?
win tomorrow night?
Yeah, they gotta win tomorrow night. I love Xavier.
All right, well, that's not great because I have Illinois in my Elite Eight.
Oh no, no, I
Why do
don't
you
know
love
anything about
Xavier?
Illinois. They have
Illinois has Euro guys now. They're playing like an NBA team. They have Yakachunas and Ivasic.
they have
They're
who?
dogs. When they're on, Yakachunas is their point guard. Just wait till you hear Kevin Harlan say that name. It'll make you so happy. And then their big guy is Ivasic. They have some other Euro guy too. It's a whole new team from last year. And they're wildly inconsistent, but I'm backing on them getting hot. And if they get hot, they can literally make the Final Four.
So my Xavier game. You hear about Zach Fremantle?
No.
Oh, you're gonna know him by the end of the tournament. This guy is a dog, and he's just built for tournament play. Kind of like a power forward, great at defense. Um, he gets 17 points a game, rebounds 7.1, 50% from the floor. He's a dog. He cooked South Carolina, I think earlier this year or last year. I think it was this year, and it's got to be this year. and he's a senior. Last ride. I'm all for Xavier. They're beating Texas tomorrow, or yeah, tomorrow.
I don't want
Illinois.
another SEC team in. I'm all in on Xavier winning.
Yeah, Texas is not that good. I mean, South Carolina beat them. They're not.
No,
That's an easy lay down the South Carolina beat them. Not that.
they lost to South Carolina.
That's I think I've done that in the tournament the past. Any team that's lost South Carolina, done. Out of here. Clemson, they're losing McNeese. Done. Out of here. McNeese, by the way,
McNeese, remember, was the sweetheart last year. They're basically the same team.
they're the
Like,
sweetheart. They're the sweetheart this year again because of their manager. Manager's the dog. You seen that guy?
oh yeah, that's right.
Yes, he
What's
walks in.
his
He
name?
walks out with
I
the
heard
boombox.
Rothstein talking about him.
Yes, that guy's awesome. He said his name too on the pod. We were both probably listening to, and
Yeah,
I totally forget it.
forget his name.
But
But
shout
they
out
also have Will Wade got let go from LSU for recruiting violations, and they were like, he turned LSU into a really good program, and I haven't heard from him since. So he's going to get a job after the season.
and recruiting violations.
Indiana should have held up for him.
There can't be recruiting
Yeah, it's
violations.
illegal now.
Yeah, I was gonna say there can't be recruiting violations now.
Yeah.
I like them beating Clemson. What about Purdue in the next round? What's up with
Done.
Purdue? Done?
Dunzo. High Point's
Dunzo.
going to wipe the floor with them.
Love it. Love it.
Purdue is so fraudulent. They don't play defense. They don't have Edie anymore. So Braden Smith was an All-American. He's their point guard. Like, damn good player. Trey Kaufman-Renn is pretty good. They're trash though. Like, they just look at their schedule and look at how many games they lost down the stretch. They just benefited from being Purdue this whole season, and like they shouldn't be a 4 seed. It's kind of a joke.
Yeah, that is
So
a
yeah, they're
joke.
toast.
How
And
did Kentucky get a 3 seed? Sorry, I didn't mean to
SEC.
cut you off. Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah.
I think Kentucky can score. That's going to be tough to play some defense against them, but I don't know. I don't think they're going to get too very far. I didn't mean to cut you off on Purdue though.
That sounds like Kentucky.
What? Sorry, say again. It sounds like.
They're gonna score, but
Oh yeah. It does sound like Kentucky.
although it's not
That's them
count.
every year. They yeah, the teams like you were saying with Purdue just done. Clemson done. Georgia done. Out of here.
I
Texas
have
tomorrow. Out
Clemson
of here.
going to my Sweet because I also have them playing High Point the next round. I know you hate Clemson, so
I mean, they do have like they have good players. They played tough this year. If for the game that I saw, I'm only literally thinking of the one game that I saw in person, where they lost to the Gamecocks. But they do have some good players on their team. That kid Victor Lacton, he's a massive kid from Cincinnati last year. Big white dude. He's just all over the place. He shoots threes. He gets in your best player's face. He's annoying to play against. He's going to be a big factor in this tournament and versus McNeese. Hunter's good too. Their point guard.
they were 18-2.
Sorry, Dunzo. Manager's best in the league. Dunzo. I got two factors going against him. I think I lost you, but we might be back.
I got you now. We're covered, yeah.
Okay, that is Any thoughts on Troy? I heard some Troy some rumblings.
I heard Troy's like the worst 3-point shooting team to ever play basketball.
Sweet. That's pretty great. They're gonna get boat raced by Kentucky. Is that what you're saying? Kentucky's just gonna.
That's what I'm saying, but you never know.
That's true.
I saw a
That's
Kentucky
true.
fan say that, and then they're like, but they're gonna come out the gate shooting like 50% from 3.
Yeah, Troy just lays it on them. They just shoot the best 3-point percentage they've shot all season. I have a goofy bracket, and I'm concerned because everything I've listened to is like try to go chalk this year. It seems like it's probably going to be pretty chalk. But that's just the fun of it. You can't have a bracket that doesn't have some picks that are biased or whatever. That's the whole point of it.
Yeah, my big ones are Utah State beating Tennessee, Illinois in the Elite Eight, and other than that, I'm pretty chalk. My upsets are Purdue and Michigan getting beat. Oh, I have UCSD in my Sweet 16. Actually, I've been beating A&M after beating Michigan.
That's a good team. They
Michigan's gonna like they're too much. They're too much of a fan favorite.
I'm now nervous about my Michigan State pick. I'm
Remember who you're talking to, though.
I know, I know.
Like,
And
I'm
it's
never gonna say they're going to.
but like Mike in the he likes Michigan State. He said they're worse than Michigan. I don't think he'd ever say that. Actually, no, his brother went there. He likes Michigan, so never mind. Um, anyways, we do have a comment. How do we feel about Auburn? We did discuss them at the beginning, so I guess we'll do a little quick thing. And I didn't mention it. Broom from Auburn.
Yeah.
I thought I hated him because he was so much older than everyone else. Then I realized he's only like a couple months older than me, and then I realized I just hate him because he's good at basketball and bullies everyone that he plays against. But man, do I hate that
He is
guy.
very good.
He's a force. This year, he's gotten a 3-point shot, which he hasn't
Yep.
had. He was on that Morehead State team. He's been all over the
Oh,
place.
that's why he looks so familiar.
Yeah, he's just been all over the place. So he's got plenty of experience. This is his last ride. He's gonna be playing ball. That Auburn team's great. They're the number 1 seed for a reason. But yeah, tough draw with Louisville in Kentucky in the next round if they beat Creighton.
They also shouldn't be the number one. Like, Duke should be the number 1 overall, based on the way Auburn finished the season.
I agree. I agree with that, especially with
Like, Duke had a couple chances to play real teams. Like, they played in the ACC, which was a joke. But they had a couple real chances against good teams and just like annihilated them. Like, they beat Illinois by 1,000.
Well, and they won. They won without Cooper Flag. I mean, they had the injury and everything. They still
Yeah.
won. Like, all right. I think. I mean, you got anything else? Patriots signed a center. That was cool.
I feel like there was something NFL. Super Cup, I think we missed.
Cooper Cup. Okay, yeah, let's do that real quick.
Big,
Cooper
big
Cup
contract.
to the Seahawks. Basically, you're getting
And how much
Geno
guaranteed money,
and
though?
DK for Cooper Cup and Sam Darnold. Is that the best? Is that the best allocations of our resources
Sounds
here?
like a downgrade.
I'd,
I did read about the Darnold
agree.
contract that
Yeah, it's a 1 year.
they can basically cut him loose. Yeah.
Yeah, I heard that.
He's got
too.
that like weird injury guarantee. So if he's not that great, they can just stop playing him, and then they save like $17 million and are basically out of it.
Yeah, once I saw that, I had liked the deal a
So
lot more. Like a lot more. Oh, he's basically a
they're
1-year
not
rental.
committing to him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
much better. The
Yeah.
Cooper Cup thing, I mean, they need a second wide receiver. Jake Bobo was their wide receiver. I don't see they're just trying to still compete. I guess that's the
Yeah,
bottom
I mean,
line
they
here.
just want to be like a watchable team, I guess.
Yeah, and I guess that's good. And they have a young head coach. They probably just want to get a culture set up and everything. And so
Yeah, definitely.
it's not the worst direction in the world, but especially with this Darnold contract, not as the guarantees come out, not as bad as we thought. So little less down on that, but still not what I would have done. But that's okay. I'm
No,
not a GM.
but um, NIT, you declined it and you didn't
Yes.
like it.
Yeah, I didn't like it. I try to like I didn't try to like say a lot on Twitter because I don't want it's just respect the decision, but it is I I I just want to see more. I just want to see more Gamecock basketball. Sue me. Um,
You're sicko.
yeah, I am a sicko. I just want to see the boys play. And if it was they said it was an injury thing. If that means one of the guys didn't want to play just because they didn't want to get hurt, and the rest of the team backed it up, then I'm all for it.
Mm,
Um, but if it wasn't an injury thing and it was like a recruiting thing, felt like they should have just said that. But I don't know. I don't know the locker room. I don't know the ins and outs. It seems like the team's happy with it, which is all I care about. And if it means that we're focusing on recruiting, then let's do it. Let's hit the transfer portal hard. Eli Ellis is coming. That's let's talk about
nice.
that for a second. I will say he posts on social media quite a bit. It's good. It's like every day now. It's like all right, but he was incredible in this OTE tournament. I don't know what it means. He won the finals. One of the guys he beat on the other team is a Tennessee recruit, so it's already starting crap on
There
Twitter.
we go.
Um, Especially because he got in his face and got ejected in one of the games. Um, so that was a whole thing. That was fun. Seems like he's gonna bring a good energy to the team. I'm really excited about it. Um, and honestly, like even if he's not, projected number one pick or not number one, first round pick or whatever, if he's just a great college player that stays for 2 or 3 years, I'm great with that too. So that's I'm just excited for it. He's a little small. It'll be cool to see him transition, I guess, to D1. Um, yeah, he killed it in the OTE and whatever that means. Let's do it. But yeah, I'm kind of avoiding the NIT still. I don't know what to like. They declined it. I don't know what to tell you. Like that's really all I got. I wish they played. Honestly, like I am a sicko. I think they
Yeah.
could have won it.
Tournaments are fun.
Yeah, tournaments are fun. Yeah, and anytime you could play a postseason, that means like we have two banners in CLA for the NIT winnings. So it's
Really?
another back to back champs,
I
baby.
wonder, have they came out with the bracket yet? I would love to
Yeah, oh
be.
yeah, the
I would love
bracket's
to like
out.
work for the NIT.
That's
Just like
uh,
make the NIT bracket. There's no consequences.
yeah, teams can just
Well, you'd
decline
have
it.
to be good at dealing with rejection.
It's
Why
quite the
can't I just get a
bracket.
picture of the bracket? All right, the trophy with confetti is kind of a tough look. I will. I
Look,
will say. I just saw a picture of Seton Hall from last year. I would.
okay.
I would be happy though.
Yeah, I would. Yeah,
Uh,
you want to
okay,
play.
SMU's playing. That's good. They're the 1 seed.
I
What are
think
they like?
Georgia Tech is
Oh,
like the biggest
Dayton.
school. Yeah,
George Mason, dude. George Mason's gonna go win that whole thing. George Mason had a good year. They have one of Maryland's old assistants as their head coach.
Oh, nice.
I bet George
Stanford.
Mason to win.
Yeah, there's South Carolina would have
Stanford and
they would have been
Samford.
great. They would have been great. Yeah, Stanford and
Loyola
Sanford is that's
Chicago.
pretty. They need to be in the same region. They should be playing number. They should be playing the first round.
Georgia Tech. Oh, Georgia Tech is like a 4 seed in the NIT.
All right, yeah, that's brutal.
That's tough
We're
luck. Wait, how did you guys even? What was your conference record?
two and whatever.
How the hell did you get a NIT
SEC,
bid?
SEC, baby. It just means more. They
I guess Oklahoma State was 15 and 17.
the the Texas game where they beat um I guess where they beat Arkansas or not Arkansas, whoever they beat in the SEC tournament. It was a big game. I think it was Mississippi State. Um, Once they beat them, we got like mathematically invited
Oh.
to the NIT. Yeah, yeah. It's pretty
I
great, right?
I think if West Virginia and Indiana were real basketball players, they would play in the NIT and they'd win the whole damn thing.
Yeah, just meet in the finals, just dominate, just sweat their like
Problem is,
balls to the
it's
wall.
like it's a no-win situation because if you win, you won the NIT, and if you lose, then it's like you clowns couldn't even win the NIT.
Yeah, and you thought you could be in the NCAA
So
tournament. Yeah,
yeah, right.
it is a lose lose, and I guess that's probably why South Carolina and Lamont didn't think it was important. Um, at least important enough.
What about the CBC?
I have no idea what that is. I know about the crown.
The CBC is the college basketball crown.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know about the
I just
crown.
know it's like the whole Big East.
I know you can't decline it. That's what I know. It's like yeah, you can't decline it. You have to play in the
Is
crown.
this the one where it's like the final is like a 3-game series?
Oh God, is it really? I didn't hear about
Is
this
that an old
until Sunday. I had no
Because
idea this was a thing.
let's see, because there used to be an old tournament that was like the CIT or the CTI or something like that. It wasn't the CBC. Let me just look at this bracket. Oh, Nebraska's in it. Wait, they're actually like you guys should be in this one. These are like real teams.
Yeah, that would have been fun. We didn't get invited.
The whole Pac-12 is in it, which is kind of cool. GW's in it. Boise, I mean, they were last four out, so they should be the favorites to win the whole thing, right?
Guess so.
Villanova, they've stooped pretty low.
They can't decline it though. They can't
play
like
in the CBC.
yeah,
How is that allowed? Who says that they can't? Who says that they can't
I don't know.
decline? Duke declined their NCAA bid during COVID.
That's true.
You can decline that. You can decline anything.
That's a good point.
That would be funny if they're like, you guys sucked so bad that you have to play this tournament.
Yeah, I guess you can't force a parade. What about like TV rights? It's got to be something with that, right?
Maybe, yeah.
All right, I think we've exhausted our March.
Yep.
We're
Be
deep
back.
in the crown.
Back to talk about the first round.
Yes, we will be back to talk about the first round. Um, Thank you to Jack again for joining us. That was great. Um,
Absolutely.
we had a blast. And good luck to Marquette and to Maryland and to the rest of the teams that everyone's rooting for. Hopefully your bracket wins and we'll send you a t-shirt. But join before Thursday or else you're going to miss out. So free entry, make sure you join. Links in our link tree in our Instagram and everything. All right. Thank you all for listening. We'll see